Hey, welcome all of our Edmodo trainers and our assistants. This is Robert Ma here giving you a shout out and just want to go over in a relatively quick video, hopefully, what the expectations are for training on Monday at the high school for our first rollout of our one-to-one kind of technology training day. So as you can see here, hopefully from the list on this, that we have Edmodo's session is going to be from 7:40 to 8:55, and within that session, we're going to be running 7 different classrooms. And so, if you're also helping us with Google Drive, you understand kind of the format because I sent that video out a couple days ago. So first of all, um, obviously, everybody in this email, you can go ahead and see right now what your assignments are. We have 7 different classrooms. We call them Team 1s. So we have room 228, 115, 218, 219, 110, library, and 211. Our lead trainers is Rochelle, Tiffany, Jim, Wade, Jenny, Ananda, and Vicky. So you folks will be the leads. If something happens or you get sick or you need to, life happens sometimes and things come up, certainly let me know as soon as possible. Our assistants, you'll be assisting those leads, is Todd, Dave, Teddy. You're in room 228. And I apologize, I'm practicing this new mouse pose thing, and it looks like I need to change my settings so it's not quite so sketchy. But anyways, Nate and Court, you'll be in room 115 with Tiffany and Amanda. And I need to talk to Steve still, but Amanda and Lisa, definitely you're with Jim in 218. Mr. Test, you and Casey are together there, so this is kind of separated because of page break. But you're with Wade in room 219, and then Megan and Misty, you're with Jenny. Ananda has Amanda and Regina, and then our last training or team is going to be Marjorie, Brian, and Vicky. So, anyways, that's the format. Once again, we're going to have, or I guess say once again because I talked to the Google people, but we'll have actually all the teachers assigned to your rooms, and they'll know exactly which room they need to go to. There'll be an attendance sheet in there, so make sure they check that off so we know who we need to catch up with on training. Hey, as far as Edmodo goes, what we really try to do is, and we realize there's probably a session 1 and session like 2 as in different levels, but we pulled all of the people who had been using Edmodo quite regularly at the high school, and we've put you as assistants. And we're assuming and kind of hopeful, I guess, that everybody who's in the Edmodo training as participants are really level 1 type people. So you folks that are assistants, when we meet again next month, we'll have like level 2 Edmodo and kind of some high-end stuff to help you folks kind of progress in what you do with Edmodo. So anyways, that's the training Monday from 7:40 to 8:55. You have your room numbers. In your room numbers, you're going to also have a poster. Let's see if I get it here. So in your classrooms, Leanne is going to go ahead and set up these codes here. High school code, if they're CHS, remember all new teachers have to have a code to get into the school Edmodo group when you first set their accounts up. Pioneer High School, trainers, understand you have both staff members there. So Pioneer High School, the code for any new teachers that don't have an account is here, and then the high school, any teachers that don't have an account will be up there as well. A couple things we want them to join throughout the day, so we'll talk about kind of the expectations in a minute. But on this card, it's going to be on the wall for you, or on the board in front, is we have 4 groups we want them to join. Let's just briefly talk about those. Obviously, the first one is the school code that gets them as a member of the school. They're verified teachers. The CCSD Digital PD. So this is going to be our back channel for the day. So we want these teachers to join this group, and any questions they have, comments, things they need help with, and then we can just have conversations while training's going on and answer those questions on our part. So we want them to join that group, and that's where we're going to put all of our PD training. We're actually going to video a couple sessions on Monday, and all those videos for teachers that aren't there will be in that CCSD Digital PD group here, this YX, and so that's the same for both schools. It doesn't matter what school you're at because it's training for the same day. So we have our school codes for both schools. We have our digital PD training group, so it's our backdoor training group, and Leanne, myself, and Tara and Jackie, well, at least a core of us, unless we get pulled into a room for training, will be monitoring that group there and answering any questions. So please instruct your teachers that any questions they have throughout the day, or kind of the parking lot type concept, that's where we want those questions to go, and we'll address them to those teachers and as kind of an outside group. Or you can even jump on as a trainer and answer those questions too if you like. All right, Carson High staff, you have your own codes. So we want all teachers to join the Carson High staff group, and then Pioneer High staff, there's the code for them. So we'd like to join that group as well. We'll be using the staff groups for messages from the principals, information coming out from your admins, communication, collaboration within the staff members themselves, and so we've established that, and that's where you can be talking. You can let the teachers know that's where they can talk to their staff members and share ideas and help each other out there. The last group that everybody will be joining, and all students will also be joining this group, is our Senators. So it's our mascot group, we call it. So Senators 15-16, every student and every teacher needs to join that group at Carson High, and the Panthers have their mascot group, 15-16, and they need to make sure they join that group. Once the teachers join that group, we'll go ahead and make them co-teachers. The reason why we're doing that is a lot of the messages from both schools, the daily messages, the announcements, any concerns or things that admin needs to send out to all students will be sent out through that group, as well as the traditional methods. But really that one is the strength in that, and you can talk to your teachers about that a little bit later, is the ability for any staff member to reset any student's password. So we're not going and finding somebody in the building who has that student password. Because remember, in Edmodo, if you are a teacher or if you create a group and you're a co-teacher of that group, you can see all members in that group for students, and you can reset student passwords. So that's kind of our workaround for students needing their passwords reset, for the forgetful ones and whatnot. Hopefully, as we progress through Edmodo, my goal for you and kind of our goal for the one-to-one department is to eventually have Edmodo synced up to our SIS, or our student information system, where all these things can be done automatically. We're not changing passwords physically. The students can actually do that, but that's coming down the road. Hopefully we'll get that up and running sooner than later, but just know that for now, every kid will be encouraged and asked to join this group for CHS and PHS, and that's where teachers will be co-teachers of that group as well, and they can change passwords. Okay, so Leanne's going to have this poster in your classroom for you. Please make sure that poster gets taken down when you're done your training. We do not want these codes, especially for the high school codes, to go out to the students, because then they can create an account as a teacher and have their own little personal groups within our system, and I'll spot them and try to find them, but we don't want these codes to go out. The only ones the kids will have is the mascot groups, the 15-16 for both schools. Okay, so that'll be on the wall for you for training. So let's go ahead and look at what your learning targets are for today for your training stuff. So very first up top, we want to talk about getting the account set up, and my prediction or anticipation is that almost all of your teachers will have accounts. Now there might be some issue with them actually remembering their passwords. So there might be some hang-ups there, and some things, some time consuming with teachers that have forgotten their passwords, but we cannot, and I cannot reset those passwords. The teachers have to get an email request to get their passwords reset. We will have Edmodo support at the tip of our fingers with a phone call, and they can help us reset things and find things out. So as you get started, you'll have support out in the hallway, and myself and Leanne and Tara will be there monitoring those classrooms that you're instructing in. And if you have people that are hung up and are slowing down your progress, is what we're looking at, is getting them some support and getting them fixed up so they can participate and not slow down the whole training in your classroom. So anybody with password problems, can't get on, and they already have an account, and bring that to our attention, and we'll try to get those things fixed for you so you can go on and do the training. So your first priority, or your learning targets, are number one is we want to make sure everybody has created an account and they can edit it. And so the three things we want to go there is obviously make sure they can set up an account, and I know that most of your teachers have that. So when they do set their count up, we are going to ask if they have an avatar. Don't just use the blank blue face. So you can teach them how to drag and drop a picture or upload a picture and do that. Verify school email. That's really in setting up the account. So just make sure you have the time zone and the country stuff correct. It really should already be done for them, because when you use that school code to join Edmodo, it automatically knows where the school is located in the time zone, and it should establish those for them. So just want to probably look at those settings, and I'll show you in a minute what those look like. And then make sure that it says they're all at Carson High School or Pioneer High School. I know there's been a few changes, so that might be an issue. So let's jump right into Edmodo and just look at those three things really quickly, and make sure you know what you're going to do. You will have a slideshow. Back up when I said, so I'm going to give you a slideshow. It'll be sent out in this email as well. And so basically by going through the whole slideshow, if you go from slide to slide and have a conversation about each slide, that you will get through all these learning targets by going through that slideshow with your class that you have for training. So you're not just winging it. There's a PowerPoint, so you will have to make sure you have your laptop open. I strongly suggest that you open it up the next couple days or over the weekend and have a look at it, make sure it loads right, and you're able to present that. So you can bring your laptop to those classes and plug in, or you can put it into the cloud, like into your Google Drive. And actually, that's what I'll probably do is I'll send out that slideshow to you in Google Drive, and I'll share it with all of you. And so then you guys can just open that up and save your own personal copy. And that way if somebody makes a mistake and deletes something or edits it, it doesn't affect the rest of us. So I will send out the link to the Edmodo PowerPoint. It'll be through Google Drive. So hopefully you all have your Google accounts, and you want to click on shared with me and find that link, or go to your email and find it. And when you get that PowerPoint, please make sure you rename it. Download it to your own drive and rename that. So like I say, it doesn't affect the rest of the training group on Monday if you've deleted or changed something, and it doesn't kill the rest of us. Okay, so in that slideshow I'm going to send you, it'll actually have all these steps done one at a time, and you should be successful in getting through there. The time is going to be pretty tight. I'm not going to lie to you. An hour and 15 minutes. By the time you really get into it and get everybody up and running, it'll probably be about an hour long. But the good news is you got a lot of people at your site who use Edmodo, and you got trainers in your classroom to help you. So I'm really hoping we can get through as far as you can, and at least get down our goal. Really, these first three, getting the count set up, setting up the groups, and teaching and showing the teachers how to communicate through Edmodo. Those are the big three. I guess I'll back up. Well, I really would like you to get to the fourth one if you can. Just teaching them how to use the library, uploading documents, and sharing those documents. So joining the PLCs and support stuff is kind of like bonus material. If you can get through that far, that'd be great. But the real meat of it is basically 2, 3, and 4. Setting up their groups, learn how to communicate with the notes, the alerts, the assignments, quizzes, and polls, and then also how to use their library and their backpack for students, library for teachers, so teachers can start storing stuff there and sharing it out through Edmodo if that's what they like to do. Alright, so let's jump into Edmodo real quick, and I'll show you. There's a few things that are new, and I'm not sure if your screen looks the same as mine, because they send some beta stuff out to me occasionally for me to test and whatnot. So biggest thing is getting them into their account. We want to make sure in the account settings, so that's what I talked about. Number 1 is name, title. I don't have a title there. My time zone, country, so there's a bad on me. I should pick my country, I guess. And so United States, yeah. Okay, so there I am. To make these changes, please verify your password. So my key clicks are on, so I'm not going to type my, oh yeah, you don't see it, so good. Okay, back up. So I'm just going to make those changes. So and hit save. So if they want to update that, make sure they do that. So there's their email. Make sure it's verified, and first name, last name, you're good to go there. My school is going to look different than yours, obviously, because I'm over at Gleason, and that's the school I've set myself up as. And obviously you guys should see Carson High, or if you're trainers, it'll be Carson Middle or Eagle Valley or Carson High or Pioneer. So anyways, make sure that's set up. Big thing we're having recently, and it's kind of giving some teachers frustration, is they don't understand the email and text updates. So once they've set their account up, um, I would have a conversation about how they're getting emails and text updates. I have everything coming to my cell phone right now. Unlimited texting, so I really don't care about that. So I have all notes, direct messages, replies, new groups, members. So all that stuff is coming directly to my cell phone, and I have no problem blowing my phone up with Edmodo stuff because I like to be in contact and see what's going on. But most teachers right now have this set up as going to their email. And then last couple of days I got some middle schools teachers like, why is my email blowing up? Well, because they have everything, all messages and everything going to their email, and then everything is clicked. So what I suggest they do is I would suggest they at least have their direct messages if somebody asks them a question in Edmodo, maybe replies, and probably notes. Those are the top three that I would probably have selected if I was in the classroom. Connection request doesn't really apply because they're going to have the code anyways. Okay. So I would make sure they understand the implications of everything going to their text and everything going to their phone number. If they ever need to reset their own password, they can go there. Current password, new password, confirm it. Kind of pretty simple stuff. That's all I want to talk about on that one. And so avatar, I would love them to have a picture other than just the blue faces that are generic ones. So that's one of the steps we want you to go through, is have the teachers load an avatar, so they can bring something in from Google Images or off the internet or off their hard drive. Something that shows their personality. I don't know, whatever you want to do there. So that's kind of basic. That should not take very long for you guys to do and go through. So let's just move on to that. The next part we want to make sure they cover is they can set all their classes up. So we like all the teachers to set up the periods they teach. A1, A2, A3, B1, B2, B3, AB55, and then over at Pioneer periods, probably by the class groups, I'm guessing, U.S. history, math, whatever, because those are more class names than A3. But certainly if I was going to set that up, and I'd encourage you to tell your teachers that when they set up A1, that they actually put what the subject is after it, because that'll appear in the students' calendar, their planner. And so A1 might not mean as much as A1 trigonometry would to them. So help them with that, set the classes up. Make sure they know how to join a group. Obviously they should know that because you've given them the code for those 4 groups today, and they've got one already. They should know how to lock their group codes and why that's important. So we'll talk about that in a second. Send out a quick URL, so we'll discuss that one. Delete a student and reset password. Okay, so let's jump into Edmodo. So adding a group, pretty simple. You can see all my classes, the groups I have here, and you can hide those too, by the way. Hopefully you know that. You can manage your groups. If you didn't know this, if it is solid star, then it's a favorite. It'll appear on your list. But if you have it as an open star, it is a group, but it does not appear over here on this side. So if you want to go ahead and make things visible and invisible, that's how you do it with the stars, and filled in or not filled in. Okay, so let's go ahead, and everybody should know how to create a group. So that's where we're going to do this. They're going to create their class. So if it's me, I'm teaching A1 freshman transitions. So that would be my class, and then grade level would be 9th grade. If it's a range, that's fine. Subject area. And that doesn't hardly ever appear onto the students. This is more for Edmodo's tracking for subject areas and grade levels of kids. So the key is this here. And then you just go hit create. And when you do that, I'm just going to sit here and say, I know you all know how to do this, but just make sure, oh, my grade. Okay, so I'll say 9th grade, subject area we'll say, because it covers all subjects, go ahead and create. So there's my class. The cool thing that Edmodo is doing recently is they're changing the colors for all your classes automatically, so it's not something you don't have to worry about if you don't want to. But there's the group code. So make sure you understand, you just know how to do that. If you want to lock the group, and I would suggest you tell the teachers to do this once they got everybody in their class, lock it, and then you can actually reset the code. and that keeps kids from sharing that code and inappropriate kids or other people coming into your classroom. So you can lock it, and then you can even reset it if you want. So I'll leave it unlocked for now. If you want to invite people, parents, students, I don't know. So you can type them in if they're already in Edmodo. You know, type in their emails, you can do that, and we can invite them that way if we want. Oh, let's see. Go back real quick. So we've set up classes as groups. We know how to join. We've done that. We can find and lock group codes. I showed you what that is. Why, and I talked about why it's important. Send out a URL. Let's go look at that real quick, and then we'll talk about management of students. So here's my class. As far as management goes, simply I click on members, and then if I had students in here, so I'll actually go pick a class here. So Fritz Bulldogs, there's 225. Obviously your students aren't going to have that many, your teachers aren't going to have that many. So over here, let's get through the co-teachers. So let's go find Jocelyn Ruiz. So I can go over here, and now underneath her, I can actually, if she's a student who's making inappropriate comments or not adhering to digital citizenship and good digital online behavior, I can make her read only. This is an elementary class, so they've all set them to read only. But if you need to change the password, there it is. And so you can do that, and you can reset the password for that student. The student reset password is the student.604, and then they can go in and change that however they want. And yes, believe it or not, some students have inappropriate pictures. And so if we would deem this is a teacher, so that's kind of funny. Well, maybe that's her. Let's say somebody has an inappropriate picture. Then I can actually go ahead and I can remove their profile picture. Okay, and I can actually remove them from the group if I find that that student's not with me anymore. So that's how we manage our students, change passwords. We can give them the parent code so mom and dad can get in there, and then we can block their pictures or get rid of it, and then we can actually get them out of the group. You'll see here, these kids here, it's kind of fun, is they're actually making their avatars, and that's what Edmodo is doing now, is you can actually customize your avatar to something that you think looks like you. Okay, so let's go back up. Group settings, if I want to send out a URL, so I could actually send out a code, and then there's my URL. So this is with students within Edmodo already, so I don't want you to think that, but this URL that we had there, okay, I can actually send that URL code out to students. I can write that on the board, I can email it to people, I can send it out. I don't know, however you want to do it. If you're thinking about URLs, if kids already have Edmodo accounts and you want to send that URL out to another group of kids, you can give them that. So that will actually get them right to the join feature. So that is, let's go through it real quick. So classes, find lock codes, send out URL, delete student, we did that, and reset student password. Okay, next thing we want to talk about is how to communicate. And I know all of you know this, but just real quickly, let's go through those expectations for you. So, oops, I'm getting tired already. Let's go here. So, let's just go in Edmodo 1. Okay, so I want you to go through and talk to the teachers about notes, assignments, quizzes, polls, and don't stress that about Snapshot. That's going to be for Edmodo 2 training. Just remind them that this is like Facebook, but that doesn't apply to some teachers because they don't use Facebook. So this is time sensitive. So the most recent post will be on top, and the ones will be down below. I can pin a post. This is a new feature. So if you're the principal or you're the teacher and you want some message to always be on top, is you can go ahead and I can pin that post to the top so it always stays there. So maybe it's a message for the day or an important announcement and you don't want to get lost, or an assignment. I just pin that post and it'll stay there. Assignment, go through and talk about assignments with teachers. We can go ahead and make assignments. And this is interesting because as I click on assignments, I want to go ahead and give the title. I can load a previous assignment. I go ahead and describe it. So talk to your teachers about making assignments, cool thing about assignments, I can send it to whatever groups I want, as many as I want, or individual students. So if I want to send this to Mr. Greenlee as well, so I can send it to a group of people, or I can send it to an individual. So Edmodo's looking for Mr. Greenlee. So Mrs. Green, there he is. So I could actually send this assignment to Mr. Greenlee as well as my Edmodo 1 group. So groups or individuals, pretty cool. I can attach a document, a file to this assignment. Hey, open this up and read this. Maybe it's a test or quiz and you want, it's already paper copy. You say read this and put your answers in, or Master Connect, or whatever you want to do. I can link it to a website. I can pull something out of my library, and I can schedule when it's going to come out. Some students will get on and do their homework during the day. Maybe you want it to be after 5 o'clock or something for some reason. I don't know, but you can schedule that. Make sure you pick a due date, and when you do that, it should be fine. You can lock the assignment. So if you want kids to find out, if you want to discover if they've turned it in late, you can lock it after the due date so they cannot turn it in, and then those kids are locked out and you have to have a conversation with them. So when you make an assignment, it goes into the planner. So here's awesome, cool, because kids, well, it can help being organized by us putting stuff in here. So I can't remember what group this is in, but somebody, a member of a group I'm a member of, has some quizzes and has some work out here already. Mr. Conley from Eagle Valley is EVMS Picture Day, and he reminds them that. But if I'm a student and I have 5 classes and all the assignments are here, I simply click on that and it's a direct link to that quiz. And so this is Mr. Pollock. This is my Edmodo Ambassador group. So I can go ahead and take that quiz if I want, and those results will send to him because he made the quiz. So that'll help your students be organized. So let teachers know that if they as a group or if they as a staff can start sending the assignments out, or at least what their objectives are, then the students have a digital copy and they can stay organized and plan their schedule and their lives accordingly a little bit better than what they're possibly doing right now. So make sure you talk about the count, the planner, and how that ties in there. We talked about differences. So talk about the difference between note, alerts. Hopefully you know that. Look at the slides. Quizzes and polls. How to set an individual post. You can talk about that. How to group together many recipients. I showed you that one. Be able to create and send any one of different types of posts. So I can create a post and I can send it, basically. Attach files from your computer library, so you might want to show them that one. Okay, so also the library, let's go ahead and talk about that. Basically in the library, gotta find myself, there we are. So talk to the teachers about their library, and this is kind of basic Edmodo stuff here, is they can add stuff to the library. They can delete stuff, so adding is pretty simple as add. You can upload a file, you can go get a link, and make sure that the big thing is most people forget is they always forget to hit the add button. So if I go ahead and pick a file, I'll just say scary school. So if I upload that picture, a lot of people think it's already uploaded because it says upload is complete, but it's not added yet. I have to make sure I click add. Okay, and then there's my scary picture, moving on from there. Alright, so go through that, talk about the library, how to delete it. I hover over top, it turns blue, I click it, and then, come on. Oh, there's my trash. Somebody else yesterday had the minus button up here, so a folder, getting out of the folder, so I can delete that. Okay. So folders, we want the teachers to set up their folders based upon their MIUs, and so if I have some from middle school, and guess not. So I have different categories here: digital etiquette, heartbreaker, wellness. So these are different MIUs for digital citizenship, and I can put all my files and documents in there. Cool thing we did yesterday at Carson Middle School is one of the new science teachers is she created her MIUs now, and she's starting to put all of her papers in here. And then when the kids come to class and they say, I wasn't here yesterday, what did we do? She says, look at the planner in Edmodo, and all of the papers are in the folder that she shared with them. Because once I have a folder, cool thing here, make sure you show the teachers this, is in this folder, no, come on, folder settings, Okay, so I gotta click on the name. So my folder options, there's nothing in there right now, is I can go ahead and share that with whatever group I want. So if I have a bunch of documents in there for a science class and their handouts, instead of having my paper copies on the side of my classroom or in a filing cabinet somewhere, I simply go ahead and put all my documents as PDFs or whatever format I want, and then I click the group I want to share them with. So it'll be my A1 class, A2, whatever, A3, and those kids now have access to all those documents. So go ahead and talk about the library, go through the slides. Cool thing there, Google Drive, that's Edmodo 2 stuff, so don't stress about that one. Okay, so PLCs and support, if you have time, you can get to there and do that one. So PLCs, learning groups are down here. So you can click on communities and they can join a community they want to look at and get information from, because people post all the time. If they need support, I've never had a time frame longer than 12 minutes where I got an answer from the Edmodo folks. It's live support, 24 hours a day, I believe. Don't hold me to that one, but at least certainly during the school day. But Edmodo's worldwide, so that support is there and is active, and I've never gone more than 12 minutes without an answer or somebody responding back to me. So pretty good feedback and support. Okay, there it is. I will attach the files or for the slideshows for you. Give you an idea what you need to do. I'll also send out the learning targets. Good luck. I will be there, and look forward to seeing you on Monday. Thanks for your time. Appreciate you, and should be fun.